Well, today I am working on some blueprints. So you can see, we made some sketches before. Now I'm taking some of those ideas and hopefully turning it into a 1-to-1 scale blueprint. So here I made one, but I'm not happy with it. I had a little problem here at the bottom. So I'm going to draw a second one. I wanted to show you a little bit how we do that, or how I do that. And I want to start with some basic tools that hopefully you have. Maybe you have a ruler, a pencil, an eraser. I like to use a long straight edge. I don't know if you can find something like that. They have, you can buy longer rulers and stuff at Walmart. That might be helpful. If all you have is a regular ruler, that's okay. You can shift it and do what you need to do. So let's get started here. I'd like to draw a similar design, but I've worked out some math here, so I want to try and put my numbers in the right place. But what I usually start with is that center line. I think we talked about that before. So I'm going to draw my tower with a base over here, and I want to make it 16 centimeters wide. So what I do is I'm going to line up the edge of my ruler. I'm going to line up the edge of the page here at 20 centimeters, and then I make a mark at 0 and 16. So what that means is I'm 4 centimeters from the edge of the page. The center of my tower is going to be here at the 8 centimeter mark. And that's important. I need that 8 centimeter mark. I go up to the top, I do the same thing. I'm going to place the edge of the page at 20, so I know my ruler is positioned the same as it was at the bottom, and I'm going to put a mark here at 8 centimeters as well. And what that does is that 8 centimeter line, that's going to be the center of my tower. I like to make all my measurements from that center line, so I just draw that lightly along the length of the page here. Now, next, I want to identify the top and the bottom. So my paper here is actually pretty close. I took a piece of poster board and I cut it down to fit on this wood board that I use for drawing, a drawing board. I have 64 centimeters to work with, and I know I want to make mine 62 centimeters tall. So what I'm going to do is put a little mark at 1 centimeter up at the bottom, and then I'm going to move that's going to be the bottom of my tower. I'm going to move up my ruler here and I make a mark at 62. That's where I want the top to be. Because I know it has to be more than 60, so I don't want to make it less. I want to make it 62 centimeters tall. And then what I like to do is draw the loading block. Remember that loading block is 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters. So I'm going to center my ruler here at 2.5 centimeters, which makes it 5 on one side, or 0 on one side, and 5 on the other. That's the loading block on the top. I'm just going to kind of sketch that in here and kind of color it quick so we recognize that. That's the loading block. But when I make the top of my tower, so that kind of defines the top. Oh, I should draw down here the ground, if you will. Remember, I wanted that 1 centimeter up. I'm just making my ruler parallel to the edge of the page. We'll draw, that's the floor there, if you will. One edge, other edge. And so now I have the tower space marked out. And let me draw at the bottom here. I already did this. I put 8 centimeters on either side of center. That marks where I want my legs on the bottom. Up here at the top, I like to position the legs inside that 5. So I typically use something smaller than 5. I'm going to go with 4 centimeters. That means the top of the tower is going to sit inside on that block. You could go with 3 centimeters, 3.5, whatever. You choose those numbers. And now what I want to do is draw the legs so that they fit on here. Now, one of the problems when I'm drawing a blueprint, you might notice this one over here, I do want the actual widths of the sticks represented. Those sticks that I gave you or will give you are 1/8 of an inch. So in class, if you didn't get one of these already, you can pick up a pack of the wood, or even if you just want a little piece to work with for now. I actually use that for drawing it. What I do here, I want my stick to sit right like this on the top, lined up with that mark, with the outside edge at the 4 centimeters. And then down here at the bottom, I want the stick to be outside of that mark. So I kind of line this up. And then I got my ruler in the right place to draw one side of the stick I just hold my pencil and I drag the stick along with my pencil to make the line. And then, so I leave the ruler right where it is, I remove the stick and draw the other side. And so I have a stick there that is 1/8 of an inch wide. I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side. Line up one part, line up the other, and then draw. I'm going to draw first one side of the stick. And I'm running out of lead there. Draw the other side of the stick, and you can see at this point I have both legs of the towers. All right. So next, I had figured out spacings for mine. I had them written down over here because I took the first design that I had and I had to make some corrections. And so I'm just going to redraw these. Let me see, I measured from this direction. So I need to make some measurements here. This will take me a few seconds. And then I'm going to draw in my horizontals. So this one's going to be, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video there. Let me make my first measurement. It's going to be 4.4 centimeters. So I'm lining up the top edge here, 4.4 centimeters. And I'm going to work my way down, making all those measurements. But I'll pause the video. You don't need to see all of that. All right, so as you can see here, I went ahead and made the measurements. So now I need to draw the horizontals. That's what I'm going to draw next, these horizontals. But again, we need the width of the stick. So the first one goes right here at the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw that guy in. He goes right across the top there. We'll place a piece there. And the next one goes here at this mark. So what I want to do, I want to place my ruler and so I can draw both sides of the stick again. But I also want to make sure this isn't tilted one way or the other. So I'm going to use, I had cut out some squares the other day, so I'm just going to use this to square up against my midline there. So now I know that my ruler is straight, and I can draw the top edge of the stick, and I can draw the bottom edge of the stick. And I do that at the next line as well. So once again, I kind of figure out my position here. I want to check, is it squared up along the midline? Looks good. And again, I can draw one side of the stick and the other side. Once again, I'm going to pause the video there. I need to continue that process the whole way down. All right, so finished drawing those horizontals across. Now I want to put the diagonals. And what I'd like to do here is I want to make them overlap. So my goal, this stick is basically going to lay on top of these others and kind of cover up these joints. So each one, what I'm going to do is line up exactly where I want it to lay. See if I can figure this out. Right there and there. And I can draw, and I notice, I don't know if you can see this, I'm going to draw right over top of the other sticks, indicating that this piece lays over top of the others. So again, just lining these up. So I want this next one parallel to that one, and I just have to line up in the correct spot, right where I want it to lay. I can draw one side. I don't know if I went far enough there. And then I draw the other side. I'm going to continue that right down the tower, as always. When I'm all finished with that, the last step I want to do some erasure, because inside here, these other pieces lie underneath this stick. So I'll go back through with a tiny eraser here and erase those. And if I mess up any erasure, I have to go back and touch up things I accidentally erased and so forth. And that should then be the finished product. Let me finish that up, and then I can show you. All right, I went ahead and finished drawing all those diagonals. Did some cleanup work here and redrew some lines, but that should be a finished product. It should be 62 centimeters tall, the correct width at the bottom and the top. I've got my diagonals drawn, the widths of the sticks, that's important. And I'm trying to show, let me bring the camera in. All right, so we finished that up. I finished the diagonals, did some cleanup work, And I just want to show you the detail here. So let me bring this a little closer. As you can see here, when we look at these joints, so here this cross member, hopefully you can see in the diagram, lies over top, and the other two are underneath. That is the goal there. So now that we're all finished, we have the top spaced correctly. We have the bottom also spaced correctly, and all of the joints along the way for a finished 1-to-1 scale blueprint.